Hello, my name is Russell Myers. Welcome to Issues Unite. So, the last couple of weeks have been a little bit rough on me. I know these times are rough on everybody. In my case, I kind of had my body chemistry going every which direction. I admitted before that I have low-level bipolar disorder that I think is brought about by my ulcerative colitis. So I think I got caught between a wild swing of that and new medications that have been difficult to balance between each other, and the result has been I kind of withdrew for a little bit, didn't want anybody bothering me, and so my loneliness kind of crashed in on me in a way that it has not done in many years, and it really hit me hard. Anyway, I seem to have come out of that, and I'm back to as normal as I can be. And so another reason I haven't been putting out much is because there hasn't been anything actually new coming out. All the stuff about RussiaGate I covered for the whole last 4 years. This was just confirmation of what we already knew. And, I did a 4-part series on the Mueller report. We already knew all this stuff. There was never any evidence. So it wasn't even worth going over again. It was not worth the effort. Frustration from all the people battling between keeping the restrictions going and the ones that want to go out and without any masks or protection or anything, and for their own selfish wants and needs, and the corporations wanting to do whatever they're going to do just to destroy us. Yeah, this is not new. All right, so let's focus in on a few, important issues here. All right, food supply. On one hand, we've got the food processors, meat processing plants fighting between shutting down and the president telling them to stay open, and there's no additional protection for these workers. Meanwhile, the price of meat has skyrocketed. During April, grocery prices have risen more than they have in the last 40 years. All right, so there are like pig farmers, chicken farmers that want to slaughter millions of pigs and chickens because they don't want to pay to feed them. Meanwhile, we've got farmers that are allowing crops to rot in warehouses and fields, which, guess what? If they got together, formed alliances, guess what? Those crops could go to feed the pigs and chickens and keep the animals alive without having to kill millions of them. Yeah, there would be a solution. I've already mentioned sending crops, take the crops that are not good enough to send to market and use it to feed livestock. Gee, how hard would that be? And I've already mentioned how the military could get involved and deliver, edible crops to food banks and supermarkets, to warehouses and so forth. No, there are solutions to everything. It all matters. The only thing holding us back is what? Capitalism. That's all there is to it. If these, livestock growers just kill off all their crops, guess what happens? You and I are going to bail them out. You and I are going to pay for it. We pay for it in terms of the government giving them a bailout, and then we pay for it with higher prices at the market, even at the same time that people are suffering from low incomes, maybe out of a job, maybe not getting any unemployment at all. Even if you go back to your job, you're going to be making the same or less, but you're still going to be paying more. This is the country we live in. I keep on coming back to the oil industry. If you take a look, right now gas prices are going up. Why are gas prices going up? Right now, we've got wells that are being shut in. That means that the oil companies are not paying thousands of oil field workers. They're saving money on that. They are receiving zero interest loans from the Fed. They are receiving bailout money from the federal government. All of this coming from you. The escalation of the national debt. What would be a solution to all of this? If the consumers were being bailed out, then there wouldn't be any problem with the consumer market. Yeah, we'd still have problems with the supply chain, but guess what? If that money was getting spent, then these companies could afford to use more protections for their workers. This is all, everyone's blaming the coronavirus. I keep saying it. This has been going on and has been leading to this point. The pandemic was just a trigger. Last year, we saw more retail closures than any year in U.S. history. At the beginning of 2020, there were companies, major corporations that were organizing for bankruptcy. Last year we saw truckers, trucking companies declaring bankruptcy, going out of business. The beginning of this year, that trend continued. Without fixing the supply chain between us and other countries. Oh yeah, let's just cut off all trade with China because that's going to fix the supply chain, right? No, it's not. Even if you want to rebuild manufacturing, it's going to take trade with other countries for the supplies to build the infrastructure for this. And then it's going to take billions of dollars. Meanwhile, the stock market has remained stable or going up for the most part. Why is that? When we come out of this, yeah, the stock market is going to go back up again. But our incomes are not going to come up. Our incomes are going to go down. It's estimated by some people that as many as 40% of jobs are going to no longer exist when restrictions are lifted. Companies are going to open their doors, retailers will open their doors to sell off at a discount what assets they have remaining. as many as 25%, 1 out of 4 restaurants, expect to not open up again. That makes sense. If other people don't have the money to spend at restaurants, even if they have the money to open their doors, if consumers don't have the money to spend at the restaurants, why would they open their doors? Because then they would just be closing their doors a little further down the line, further in debt. They're better off just not opening at all. All of this runs in a giant cycle. The latest bailout gives tax breaks to lobbyists. And this is what the Democrats have come up with. This is what the Democrats in the House came up with. Of course this is going to be passed by the Republican majority Senate, because it's handing money to the corporations, to the rich, to the lobbyists. You're barely going to get anything out of it, if you get anything at all. For every $1 in benefit, you're going to have probably $10,000 in debt added on to how much every American already owes toward the national debt. And this is going to continue for generations. This debt is not going away. All right? We need a completely radical change. All right? So, I have suggested before imposing a maximum wage, maximum income, which means income from all sources. I'm not talking about seizing what people already have, but taxing it. Impose a maximum income, meaning from all sources, including from capital gains, including the estate, inheritance. It could be very generous, $50 million. If you need more than $50 million a year, you don't need more money. You need therapy, and you can damn well afford it. Anything above that $50 million, taxed 100%. It goes into the economy to help social programs, to help build infrastructure, to pay for universal health care, to pay for Social Security, to pay for so many things that we actually need in our society for our society. Corporations, tax that, impose a maximum profit margin percentage before costs. All right? Anything above that cap, anything above that percentage, taxed 100%. Do not allow lobbying. Do not allow campaign funds. Do not allow stock buybacks to be counted as expenses. Do not allow advertising to be counted as an expense. Advertising does nothing to build infrastructure. So let them take that out of their profits. These things would build us a good base, and within only a couple of years, our entire national debt, our national deficit would be completely paid out. We would create millions of jobs. We would have universal health care, a stronger social support base, Do I expect any of this to happen? No. Not without us in massive, massive, massive numbers getting involved. So get involved. If you want to see positive change, a lot of people think that their job is safe. You know what? When retail job goes away, so do the white collar, mid-level management jobs. So do the advertising jobs. So do the trucking jobs. So do a lot of banking jobs. If there's nobody to loan money to, what do you need a bank for? If nobody can pay the loans that are already due, what do you need a bank for? There's too many people that think that they're secure. You're not secure. I don't care who you are. You are paying way too much attention, giving yourself way too much credit, and thinking that you are a lot more important than you are. If we do not function, if we do not view things as a society, then we are destroyed as a society. All right. I know that was a lot, kind of going into a lot of disparate, subjects, but it's all tied together, and we all need to realize it. All right, so please share this video. Talk about these subjects. Keep talking about these subjects. That's the important point. If you can, please donate $1 a month and help me keep expanding the channel. And within the next few days, I should be back up to where I can do videos. I'm waiting on hardware and different stuff right now. All right, so hope you have a good day, and keep fighting, keep talking.